Shackelford, proud Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Aggieland and co-chair of this event, along with past District Governor Brenda Walker. Governor Becky Mason will get us started. Governor Becky.
Thank you, Phil. Good morning to everyone. It's so nice to see so many people on the call today and hear about all of our exciting experiences that we're going through right now. And our wish for everyone is power and drinkable water. So it's the simple things in life, right? Today's event is a wonderful opportunity to express our thanks to all of you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Because of your generous contributions, we're able to support service projects around the district and around the world.
Zone Polio Eradication Chair, past District Governor Chuck Mason, will now update us on Rotary's signature Polio Plus program and its successes and future needs.
Morning, everybody. All of you know we've been involved in polio eradication for a long time, and I should have gotten to the right screen first. Let's see. Okay. Although polio has been around for a couple of thousand years, U.S. really became aware of it in the 50s, and when we had a huge epidemic. You know, up until now, it's been hard for us to explain people who are younger than say 65 or 70 even, just how bad the epidemic was. But now, unfortunately, we understand. We've seen it in the present day with COVID. Back then, we had mass immunizations. Today, we're just starting because in both cases, we've been lucky. We've had vaccines developed to protect us from it. Rotary's been involved in that for a long time. Starting back in 1979 in the Philippines, we've been doing immunizations worldwide, particularly starting in 85 and then again in 88. We've made this our signature project, but it still comes down to the same efforts of a couple of individual Rotarians working on it, individual Rotarians raising money in order to protect the kids of the world. We've had to make a few changes. They had to delay immunizations for several months back in 2020 till we could figure out how to do the immunization drive safely. And so, as you can see from the picture, Our immunizers started wearing masks. They started using sanitizers. It's surprising to me to see them having to do the same things that we do right now in the U.S. And these people are mainly working in third world countries. This is a chart of just how polio has been affected by Rotary's involvement in it. Again, like I say, in 1979 was when the Philippines started doing mass immunizations. Worldwide, polio peaked in about 1981 with almost 460,000 new people infected that year. So you can see it's dropped tremendously over time until it's almost invisible on that line. Unfortunately, until it's completely gone, we still have tragedies like the one you see here. The young woman, the young mother who's pushing herself along with her hands because she's lost the use of her legs. What's involved in all this is a whole lot of work and a whole lot of money. But what most people don't realize is the cost of the vaccines is really almost the smallest thing involved. We've seen it so far in COVID. We've got the vaccines developed now, and now we're going through the thing of trying to figure out how in the world we do these mass immunizations. How do we get it distributed out to the different locations, operational support? How do we get people to actually take it, social mobilization, continuing research with new outbreaks of new strains of it. These are all things that Rotary and our partners have gone through over the last 30 years in dealing with polio. And because of that, we were much more prepared to deal with COVID. Over the last 40 years, 35 years, Rotarians have raised almost $2.4 million. And if your screen is like mine, it's probably covered up by my picture and a couple of others. But we've raised over $2.4 billion. Now, of that, the Bill and Melinda Gates have put in $1 million of that, but they've only been involved for 10 years or so. So it's been a huge effort for Rotary to earn the money to do the project. So how is it actually spent? Well, this is something I got just 2 days ago. And if you look at it, it's got a breakdown and it says October of 20, $50,000 total, February 21st, $50 million, total of $100 million. Well, what that's really showing is Rotary is donating to the effort of controlling $150 million a year. There'll be another one of these allocations in June of this year. 2/3 of that is the Melinda Gates match on that, but we're the ones that it has to be approved by. Our trustees actually do pretty much global grants to fund all these different items. Because what the bottom line is, we've still got a huge project with polio immunizations. More than 450 million children a year in 60 countries. Takes almost 150 million polio-funded workers, and then a lot of other scientists to do surveillance activities. It's a huge project that we're still involved in, but it's a project that all of us see is worthwhile, because what we're all interested in is we want to prevent polio. We want to end it because, again, the bottom line is we want to see a world full of kids that have no earthly idea what polio is. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you, Chuck. What a meaningful presentation. Our donations to the Rotary Foundation also support global grant projects. And here are 3 that our clubs have supported over the last few years.
Michael Leonard, and I am a proud member of the Aggieland Rotary Club in College Station, Texas. So you're probably asking how a girl from Texas originally got to go to Argentina, and it's actually through the Rotary Foundation. I was given the absolutely most amazing experience to be a global grant scholar. And through that experience, I got to be sponsored by a club in San Antonio, my hometown, who gave me the opportunity to be hosted by a club in Argentina while I did my doctorate degree in political science. While I was there, I fell in love not only with my club there, but also with Rotary and the beautiful people that made everything possible for this experience. And while I was there, I, with the support of my club in San Antonio, asked if I could actually join my host club there in Buenos Aires, Catedral al Sur. And they, of course, with open arms, welcomed me into their club, and I became a member. But just like any good story, I actually returned to the United States with my then fiance, and we moved to College Station, Texas, where, of course, my first instinct was to find a Rotary Club. And I was once again welcomed with open arms into Aggieland Rotary Club in College Station. Knowing that my club in Argentina was super important to me and was a part of my heart always, I spoke to my club at Aggieland, and we found a way to partner with them, build a bridge, and apply for a global grant. This global grant was a continuation of a global grant that we had done while I was in Argentina with the same hospital, which is the local community hospital in Buenos Aires. Prior to this grant, we had actually created an oncology ward for pediatric oncology to kind of give children a safer, happier place to rest and recover while they're going chemotherapy. So utilizing and asking the needs of this hospital in Argentina in partnership with this Catedral al Sur, Aggieland and Catedral came up with the idea to buy laser chairs. So with the generous foundation money and the matching of the global grant, we were able to actually buy 5 chairs for this hospital in Argentina. And this is an amazing feat because these lasers actually provide children the opportunity to get their surgery done without having an invasive surgery, and they're able to recover and play and do what every little kid wants to do, which is just smile. And so it was with the generous donations from the foundation that we were able to do this. And also with the foundation, I was able to alter my life forever. I have my husband, I have Rotary family that expands across the world. And this is all thanks to the wonderful Rotary Foundation. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Rial Provencher. I'm with the Magnolia Rotary Club. I want to talk to you a little bit about the foundation and why the foundation is such an amazing, amazing piece of Rotary International. The Rotary Foundation is funded by Rotarians or by funds raised by Rotarians for the purpose of executing projects that are led by Rotarians. And that's what makes it so unique. It's not just a foundation that raises money for the purpose of writing checks. Virtually all of our projects are associated with either Rotarians executing the projects or Rotarians leading the projects to completion. Well, when you couple the enormous strength that the Rotary Foundation provides to the vast majority of Rotarians who really want to try to make a difference in the world today, you have an incredible tool. It opens the door to so many opportunities to go out in the world and make a difference. Our club, the Magnolia Rotary Club, had an idea to go ahead and do training in a country in West Africa called Sierra Leone. What we wanted to do was leadership training and conflict resolution training. We partnered with an organization that is a service partner for Rotary called Mediators Beyond Borders. We put together a training team of 6 members, including myself. We went to Sierra Leone in January of 2020, and we trained 61 different participants. At the conclusion of that training, we began peer group coaching, which lasted a little over 9 months, finished up in November. And now we are in phase 3, doing measurement and evaluation. And one of the requirements we had for all of those folks who did apply to our program was that they commit to making a difference within their community with some sort of project. So that's a little bit different than has been done before. There have been 3 or 4 previous global grant projects around this type of a focus, but none of them evaluated the impact the training would have on local communities. They always measured success by measuring what was learned by participants during their 3 days or 4 days or 5 days of training. So this is a little bit unusual, and it makes this project unique. But we have had a huge number of participants move forward with their projects in spite of COVID-19 this year. And some of the projects morphed into projects that were COVID-19 related, to our credit. Could never have been done without the foundation, could never have been done without the support of the district and other clubs in the district. We had 9 clubs in our district financially support this project, 2 clubs from outside our district, 1 from California and 1 from Florida. We were able to raise in total about $43,000 in cash towards a total budget of $108,000. The rest of the funds were provided by the district and by the foundation. And we are very, very happy that we've been able to take this project as far as we have.
As Rotarians have engaged in increasingly ambitious projects around the world, we've realized that Rotary brings a lot to the table, but sometimes we just don't always have the needed technical skills. So a few years back, RI formally recognized what all of us have seen in our own communities. Rotary could be much more effective by working with the right partners. Now, District 5910 is partnering with Engineers Without Borders to develop an ambitious water project in Kenya. Over the last 2.5 years, volunteer engineers made 2 trips to Kimwat, Kenya, to identify the community's needs and design a water project for the area's 5,000 residents. While in Kenya, they also developed a relationship with a Rotary Club in Nairobi that has agreed to be the project's host sponsor. Recently, the Rotary Foundation has emphasized the need to make our project sustainable. So in addition to, say, digging wells, we should also address water distribution, educate the community on sanitation, and also make sure there's a plan, training, and funding to maintain the system. In other words, sustainability. Engineers Without Borders has already done most of the groundwork. Now it's our turn. Now Rotary District 5910 needs to come through. This is a big, ambitious project with an estimated cost of almost $170,000. The Beaumont Club has agreed to be the international sponsor, and we've already identified several donors. And of course, we can expect significant matching funds from the Rotary Foundation's World Fund. But we need help, both from your clubs and from you individually. Contact me if you or your club would like further details. Both I and members of the Engineers Without Borders team will gladly make much better presentations to your club. Just ask us. Fellow Rotarians, this is a great opportunity to make a difference in the world. Let's do it.
Hi.
District is involved in polio eradication and other meaningful global grant projects. Let's hear why two of our district Rotarians personally choose to support the Rotary Foundation and why I support the Rotary Foundation.
I'm past District Governor Rose Austin from Rotary Club of East Montgomery County, which is part of District 5910. I give to the Rotary Foundation for a number of reasons. First, my donation can be matched by Rotary partners. For example, my donation to polio is matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, thus tripling my donation and making a larger impact throughout the world. Secondly, I know my donation is used well. The Rotary Foundation has consistently received high ratings on performance and accountability. Thirdly, I've seen firsthand Rotary success in eradicating polio in various parts of the world. As district governor, I participated in a national immunization day in India in 2011. And it's amazing to see the eyes of those children when you vaccinate them. Hope is in their eyes. During this time, India was not polio free, but today it is. So since I administered a few drops of the polio vaccine, I can claim, along with other Rotarians, of course, that we played a role in this eradication. And finally, I give to the Rotary Foundation because it inspires others to give.
I'm Charlie Gilliland, former past president of the Bryant Rotary Club and currently an assistant governor of District 5910. I've been donating to the Rotary Foundation for a good number of years during my 20 years in Rotary. And I began donating because the club asked us to do that. And it was just something that I thought I needed to do. But I really became more impressed and more involved when I went to my first international convention and went to the House of Friendship, where I saw that the Rotary Foundation and Rotary International were engaged in activities around the globe to eradicate polio, promote peace, and improve developing countries. It's one thing to read about or think about those things. It's another to see the actual fruits of those endeavors. And that really sparked my interest in donating, and I have increased my support for the foundation through the years. I know a lot of people are concerned about donating to organizations and whether the money goes where it's supposed to. But with Rotary Foundation, 92% of the funding that they get goes directly to their programs. And the Charitable Navigator, which is an organization that studies the operations of charitable organizations, gave Rotary their 4-star rating, which is the highest rating that they give to an organization. And they also rank them number 5 nationally. And they said specifically with respect to the ranking of those top organizations that charitable givers should feel confident that these national institutions put their donations to good use. So you don't have to worry about the Rotary Foundation not spending the money on the programs. It's great to see all of those programs. So I would endorse your donating to Rotary International Foundation wholeheartedly.
Howdy, I'm Phil Shackelford, a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Aggieland in College Station, Texas. And I'm proud to support our Rotary Foundation. For me, supporting the Rotary Foundation was a journey. I started out making my every Rotarian every year contributions because I believed in eradicating polio. I believed in the impact that the foundation had on our clubs through district grants. I believed in the service elements that each club could find a way to interact through district grants, global grant scholars, GSE teams, all the wonderful things that the foundation had to offer. And then one day at PETS, I was sitting in one of the very rooms that many of you have, listening to a presenter. And it happened to be now our current RI director, Susie Howe. Susie was our trainer for assistant governors that year, and Susie handed out Rotary Direct forms. And she asked each of us to consider contributing to the Rotary Foundation through Rotary Direct, and perhaps even at the Paul Harris Society level. You know, I had been asked, and so I want you to understand that you're being asked. And if you have not given at any of these levels, or you feel that you haven't been asked, some of what we have to do as Rotarians is to ask. Some of what we have to do is to go out and ask others to contribute and to serve and to do the wonderful things that you and I believe in. Many of the folks on this call and with us today are all donors to the foundation. So I would say to you that perhaps our role is to go out and ask and convert others to that giving philosophy, whether it's because we believe in eradicating polio, whether it's because we believe the foundation is a good steward of our funds, whether it is the global grants, the global grant scholars, everyone has a wonderful reason to give to the Rotary Foundation. And now you've heard mine. Thanks.
Thanks to everyone for your words of insight and wisdom. We have a really special guest today, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce our president of Rotary International, Holger Knack, to our reception. Hello, Holger. So happy to have you. I want to tell just a little bit about Holger, and then I'll turn it over to him. Holger has been a Rotarian since 1991. He is a member of the Rotary Club of, forgive my pronunciation, Herzogtum Lauren Mullen. Sorry. He and his wife, Susan, are members of the Paul Harris Society and the Bequest Society. And just on a side note, Chuck and I have had the opportunity to meet Holger and Susan, and we're especially happy to have him with us today. Thank you, President Holger, for joining us.
I would like to thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to see my friends, Becky and Chuck Mason. And thank you for inviting me. It's today is Saturday, so I have the time to do that. So normally I'm really all day long involved in meetings, and today on Saturday evening, it's evening already in Germany. So many things are possible right now. And I think this is a great opportunity for me to talk about a little bit about the foundation. And I heard already so many things. And Susie Howe is indeed a really great fundraiser. She is really a champion in fundraising, what I heard right now. And so just to make it not too long, but many years before I was serving as a RI president, I follow, of course, the accomplishment of the Rotary Foundation. And of course, I'm supporting the Rotary Foundation since the very early beginning, since more than 30 years right now. And it's interesting also in my country. For example, just to give you some of the projects here, I'm very proud of the work of a Rotary Peace Fellow. Her name is Annekia Reikert. She came originally from Denmark, but is now working in Berlin and found the REDI School for International Digital Integration, which helps to integrate refugees from the Middle East into German societies by helping them to learn computer coding. And her work has attracted many people. So Mark Zuckerberg, for example, the United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres, and also our German Bundeskanzler Angela Merkel. And this is really great work. He has started with Rotary because Anne was a Rotary Peace Fellow and now working, supported by Rotary Global Grants here in Berlin. And she's still working here. I've never been more proud of our members for the way that they have adapted to these rapidly changing times and have helped people around the world deal with the loss and disruption caused by this pandemic. Our clubs around the world have rapidly adapted to holding virtual and hybrid meetings, as you are doing today. And I'm especially proud of the way that we have used the technology shift to reach out farther. For example, inviting speakers who might not normally be available without the ability to reach out virtually. Clubs have found new ways to stay involved in service projects around the world virtually. And we have discovered by holding our convention online. And believe me, it's really disappointing for me that our next convention in Taipei also have to be virtually. But as you can imagine, there is definitely no other chance. In addition, new e-clubs have formed around areas of interest between members, breaking down the walls of geography and bringing people together in innovative ways. This is an important change that will help Rotary attract younger members, young professionals, and Rotaractors. And I'm also proud of the way Rotary has helped global organizations work together. We have learned in this pandemic that global non-governmental organizations are more important than ever. The only way to coordinate an effective response to rapidly changing conditions across borders, especially in these times of political mistrust, is for international organizations to coordinate efforts and resources effectively. And our Polio Plus partners have left behind incredible resources that have already stepped them an Ebola outbreak in Africa in 2015 and will soon be vitally important as attention shifts to ensuring that the COVID-19 vaccines are made available and taken broadly. The process we have seen eradicating polio has taken a full team effort of the US CDC, UNICEF, the World Health Organization, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and volunteers worldwide. And recently, in a CNN interview, Bill Gates praised Rotary for our decades-long efforts in ending polio, and especially for our advocacy. Our commitment to working with supporting global NGOs extends beyond polio into all of our areas of focus, including our new area of focus on the environment. I'm totally sure we would never have achieved what we achieved with polio eradication. Just 2 countries are left, you know all this, without cooperations with other strong NGOs and United Nations agencies. Rotary is continuing to open opportunities for people around the world. And we are also continuing to face significant challenges. Sustaining our members and keeping them engaged in our work during a pandemic has been especially challenging. And for that reason, we have placed a special emphasis on membership care this year. And Rotarians have responded. We consistently spread the message of a need to care for each other and to ensure that Rotary isn't just a place where we go to serve others, but also to meet our own needs. There are so many Rotarians with small businesses and they are suffering. All Rotarians left their jobs. For example, clubs in the Chicago area have placed a special emphasis on mentoring members whose businesses are facing economic difficulties at this time. It's an ongoing challenge for us, and all the world will have to rebuild from this destruction of the pandemic. And I'm confident that we can grow back stronger. It happened after the 1918 pandemic, when Rotary membership soared in the decade that followed. And it can happen again as the world relearns how we live together and connect to another again. The world needs Rotary more than ever. And I'm so proud that all that we have done to not just survive this pandemic, but to help the world recover from it and face the future with confidence. As I said, right now, everything is about COVID-19. And I'm also proud that the Rotary Foundation overall supported Corona-related projects for nearly $30 million in the last year. And because of that, you all know that we would run in danger to run out of World Fund money. And that's the reason why the Rotary Foundation decided to take money from their reserve up to 7.5 million. And also Rotary Foundation, the Rotary International has transferred money. Why? While I'm sitting at home, all district governors are not traveling, all directors are not traveling, no Rotary International Committee is traveling. So we saved, yes, $7.5 million over the last year. And I think the best way to spend this money is to transfer it to the Rotary Foundation. And Rotary International has done exactly that. I think we came back to polio, but for me it's important why I love the Rotary Foundation. We, all Rotarians, we can decide what we are doing with the money. It's so easy, it's so simple. The Rotary Club is decided itself what kind of projects they want to do with partners around the world. And you as donors, you decide in what area you are contributing, or contributing the Rotary Peace Fellows, or contributing to polio. This is definitely my concerns right now. As I said, everything is about COVID-19. And so I'm really a little bit concerned that we reach our goal of $50 million this year. And so I'm encouraging always people to go on and contribute to the Polio Plus program, because we are really promised the children of the world to do the job to end polio. And yes, I hope that we will reach this money. So thank you very much listening to me. Like always, I'm talking too much. And so I would like to chat a little bit with you. And again, thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much, Becky, for this opportunity for all of us to learn more about the foundation and to hear more about the Rotary Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, President Hoger. I'm Rhonda Harrington, PDG Rhonda Harrington, and we don't want you to leave just yet. We Rotarians have a few questions we would like to ask you. This is our first one. Many Rotary Club members become real Rotarians after they attend their first international convention or district conference. How can we encourage more of our district's Rotarians to attend the virtual Taipei convention or the hopefully in-person Houston convention?
Yes, there are several answers here. The easiest at first, Houston is not so far away from your place. So it's easy for all of you to attend the Houston convention. I think that's a unique opportunity for all of you to join the convention. So I really encourage all of you to do that. It's easy, but it's as easy to join the next virtual 2021 convention. What I said has to be virtually. And right now we are discussing several times weekly with our teams to deliver another but a good experience. It's all about a different experience. And we try something different than at the Honolulu convention. We are working on that. And I think it will be a good convention. It's a different one, and nothing could be better than meeting people in person and hugging people and shaking hands and having a drink together and having fun together. But so I'm sure that we can do that in Houston, Texas in 2022. And I'm looking forward to meet all of you in Houston. Thank you.
All right. Next question, President Hoger. As many of you know, our district has selected many women to serve as governor, and we are all proud of their service. We are so proud to see our first woman RI president nominee, Jennifer Jones. In your opinion, how does this help shape Rotary International's future leadership?
Yes, thank you for that question. Of course, it's high time that we are welcoming an RI president, a female RI president. But you know, think about that, what happened during the last years. Just 2 years ago, when Barry Rayson was RI president, there was not a single woman at the board of directors. This year, I'm happy to have 6 women on my board of directors. Next year, there will be 8 directors plus a president-elect, so 9 women on the board of directors. I think we never saw this high number of female directors on our board. But you know, everything starts in clubs. So as more female club presidents we have, as more female district governors there will be, and as more I think nominating committees and districts think about nominating an RI director, a female RI director. I think as big of the chances, of course, that there are more women on the board of directors. And with this, the chances become larger and larger, having a second female RI president. So I think everything starts in clubs and districts, and to make sure that this is driving the next years. Thank you.
Next question. And you mentioned it early in your speech about COVID-19 and how it has affected the lives of many across the globe. How has the infrastructure of the polio vaccination program helped in providing testing and vaccines to the world?
Yes, you know, as I said, everything is about COVID right now. There are many approaches right now for us. Of course, helping ourselves in our own countries to do this, helping with vaccinations. And there are so many different forms and also needs. In my country, for example, everything is done by our government. So there's not so much space for Rotarians to help here for vaccinations. But there are other points. I think what is really important, that's the advocacy for being vaccinated. And then also really combating disinformation regarding corona vaccines. That's another point. And of course, then we are leading the way, wearing masks, keeping the required distance, not mingling with other Rotarians, being here in virtual meetings. And the next one is important, that people know when you are vaccinated. I just saw a Facebook picture from past President Mark Maloney being vaccinated the second time. I think that's something we should do. Regarding polio, and that's what I'm also asking all Rotarians, because I told you about my concerns reaching our goal of 50 million this year. But I think there's a good pathway from polio to corona, because all over Africa, all over Southeast Asia, all over South Asia, there is a perfect structure to vaccinate children against polio. Everything is there. Just a year ago, exactly a year ago, I was with Ravi in Pakistan, and I saw all these facilities, huge warehouses, huge refrigerators, dozens, hundreds of cars with drivers and polio workers and headquarters. And all these infrastructure will be used to vaccinate people against corona in these countries. If it comes to vaccinations there, all plans are there. Everything is there. We just wait to start. And people know that. It's possible, it's easy, just because Rotarians started more than 40 years ago this initiative to eradicate polio. And one last point to this here, because right now we can see in nearly all countries, some of selfish, looking for being the first vaccinated, getting as many as possible vaccine doses for my country, for your country. But I think as Rotarians, we should take care of the low and middle income countries of Africa, of Southeast Asia, where they wait for us to help them. And so what we can do is, of course, advocacy again, when it comes to discussion about this issue. Our foundation is too poor to put money into this COVAX initiative of WHO and UNICEF. Simply, we need our money to support polio, of course. But I think doing advocacy whenever we can, that's an important point. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I just have one last question for you, President Holger. And, you know, we've heard from our other fellow Rotarians why they support the Rotary Foundation, but why do you support the Rotary Foundation?
I have no idea. No, we heard so many. No, you know what? I think it's simply about trust. It's simply about, this is one of the major reasons Rotarians are trusting each other. Think about our far-away test. Number one, is it the truth? So you know my addition. I always like to say, am I being honest? That's for me about truth. So simply we trust our fellow Rotarians who are doing the stewardship and managing programs. But that's not all. It's also, you know, what I said, it's not just contributing money to an organization, because the decisions are taken by us, by Rotary Club. If you apply for a global grant, then it's your decision, your club's decision where to go with the foundation money, together with a Rotary partner, wherever it is in the world. For us in Germany, we are focusing very much on Africa, because Africa is so close. It's as close as Central America is for you. And if we want to avoid that people are coming more and more for us via the Mediterranean Sea to us, for you via the border to Mexico and the other borders, I think it's our duty, it's our responsibility to look for a better life of these people. This is the only way I think that we can stop them. So again, it's our decision. It's our decision what to do with the money, and that's why I'm really supporting the Rotary Foundation.
Great. Well, President Holger, we thank you so much for zooming in with us today. It's always nice to hear from you. It's not like not seeing you in person, but we appreciate you zooming in from Germany to join us today for our foundation event. So thank you from all of us Rotarians, and I'm sure from our District Governor Becky appreciates you being here with us today.
I thank you what you are doing for the Rotary Foundation. I thank Becky and Chuck. So I think this is important because, as I said, together we can achieve a lot, and together supporting our Rotary Foundation, we can achieve a lot as Rotarians. Thank you very much for what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, President Holger. Now, thank you so much. Now I get to introduce, it's a Rotarian we well know in our district, Terry Ziegler from our neighboring District 5890, and he is our endowment and major gifts advisor for our paired zones. Terry?
Thank you, Rhonda. It's great to be with District 5910 today. My role as endowment and major gift advisor for my territory, which is the central United States all the way into part of Canada, is to help primarily Rotarians who want to give a major gift, which is $10,000 or more, or to make a bequest to Rotary's endowment of $25,000 or more. But today I'd like to give you some ideas about your future giving to the Rotary Foundation. There's, of course, I'd like for you to continue to give to both polio and to the annual fund because those are such critical things. And to realize, of course, that all of you know that money that's given to polio, to the polio eradication effort, is spent almost immediately. So we have to continue to give all the time to that. And money that's given to the annual fund is spent after 3 years. In fact, we're running out of that. As Holger mentioned, we've run out of money, or we're just about to run out of money for this Rotary year. So we need donations every year to the annual fund. And really, to track your giving to the annual fund, I would really suggest that you try to move up in the levels of giving that the Rotary Foundation has established, whether that's being a Paul Harris Fellow and moving up to the next level, or whether it's the next level of major donor, or even the next level of Arch Clump Society. You can track those things really easily today. There have been improvements in the Rotary Foundation's website, Rotary's website. And if you haven't looked at that recently, you can just go to rotary.org, My Rotary, and up in the top right, you'll see your name. You click on your name and it says My Donations or something like that, and it'll go right to your giving history, and you can look to see how close you are to that next level of Paul Harris Fellow or major donor or any of those levels. So I would really encourage you to do that. I get music with my talk. That's great. And then the next thing I would ask you to do is to consider Rotary's and the Rotary Foundation's future. Because like I mentioned, that money that you give to polio and to the annual fund is going to be spent in your lifetime in the next few years. But the money that's given to Rotary's endowment is never spent, which is an amazing legacy to your life, is the fact that you can give money to the Rotary's endowment. Only a portion of the earnings are spent each year to support global grants and district grants, or whatever you want it to support. So I would highly encourage you to do that. Rhonda and Becky know how to get a hold of me if you have any questions about that. Oftentimes larger gifts to the endowment are made in the form of stock or mutual funds or in people's wills or property, those kind of things. And those are the kind of things that I deal with on an everyday basis. And so I would encourage you to think about that in your legacy to Rotary and in your support for the Rotary Foundation as we go forward. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak for a few minutes, and I enjoyed seeing all of you today. And I'm going to turn it back over to Chuck Mason.
Gary, thanks for speaking to us. You know, I don't know how many of y'all realize it, but our district has led our zone in polio giving for the last two years, even though we're next to Terry's bigger 5890 Houston. We showed them up the last couple of years, and Terry, I'm warning you, we're going to show you up again this year.
We'll see
Part
about
of the
that.
reason, yeah, you don't get to talk now. I'm talking. Holger, we have led our zone the last two years. In fact, the year before last, when John Hathaway was governor and challenged us by saying he would shave off his Santa Claus beard if we raised a certain amount of money, we've really gotten enthused about raising money for polio. Last year, clear at the end of the year, a month before the year end, we had a challenge presented right at the end of our district conference. And as a result of that, we had a lot of funding come in. And again, we were #1 in our zone. This year, we have a couple of different, excuse me, get this going again. Find the right thing. Oh, shoot. Well, okay, I'm going to give up on that. I have a really nice chart that I was going to show y'all if I could find it. So I'll just have to explain it instead. If you'll remember, end of last year, we had a challenge, a one-to-one match by a couple of members of our district, and actually one for $50,000 and one for $25,000 for anybody who contributes between now and the end of May, the 1st of June. We want to be able to see where we are before the end of the year. If we get that whole match out of that, it'll end up being almost a 6.75 to 1 return on your money, because we'll have the return from the matching funds, and then we also have that entire amount plus whatever you contribute matched by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation by 2 to 1. So we can, if we're able to put in $100,000, say, it could end up being $675,000 to immunize the children of the world. So before we leave today, I want to challenge each of you to think about what you can do for polio for this year. Obviously, I'm speaking to the choir. You're the people who have done it in the past in our district. You're the people who will do it in the future. But what I really need you to do is talk to your fellow club members, talk to your neighbors. We'll take money from anybody, because this is a problem that really is a problem for the world. And it's a problem that we want to solve, so no kids 20 years from now will have any earthly idea what we're talking about when we talk about polio. Please join us on that. Holger, thank you for being here. I was so glad to see you, and thank you for leading us this year. Becky?
Well, I want to thank all of you for participating today, and especially thank President Holger for joining us and spending his time with us. And I have one last little question for you, President Holger. What's the weather like in Germany?
We had last weekend, we had snow like this here, and our lakes are still frozen. But yesterday, spring arrived here. So this was a good... to make a walk outside and enjoying the sun. So the snow is nearly gone, and spring is arriving. Thank you.
That's great. Well, I have to share with you that in Southeast Texas, we don't get snow very often, but this week we did. So that was quite a big deal for us. And a lot of people are still without power, and some of us still have to boil our water and stuff like that. But we got some snow, so that was good. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your vision and your enthusiasm, and you just encourage us all to be more involved and to celebrate the ways that we can get together and can interact. And in spite of everything, we'll end up with a good year, and thanks to your inspiration. So thank you all again for joining us, and we look forward to another opportunity to be together. And President Holger, stay safe, stay warm, and stay healthy. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.